It's round 7 of the MotoGP World Championship. We're at Assen in Holland, the Dutch TT, the cathedral of Grand Prix motorcycle racing.
Just after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and well, it looks set fair for this race. A few clouds about in the sky, but we should be okay. Qualifying saw Valentino Rossi take pole position ahead of Max Biaggi, Kenny Roberts and Loris Capirossi. And you can see the circuit was built in 1955, but it incorporates parts of the old road circuit more than anything that's been used here since, well, ages, since back in the 20s, wasn't it? But it's been on the calendar since 1949, a real true venue of Grand Prix racing, and it's going to play host to the MotoGP race today.
And really, it's the same old question. Can anybody beat this man? And the same old answer is probably very doubtful indeed.
The reigning world champion, of course, Valentino Rossi, has won 5 out of the first 6 races, was second in the other, just behind Toru Okawa. But Rossi and his RC211V, that 4-stroke 990cc machine, are in fine form, and they've started the season absolutely brilliantly.
Well, the bikes have actually won all the rounds, haven't they? Valentino Rossi's won 5. His teammate Toru Okawa had a great win in South Africa, was won 1. But 6 out of 6 for Honda. Here, could it be different? Well, of course, there's still some 2-strokes in 500cc 2-strokes in the race, so we wait to see.
There's youngster Danny Pedrosa. He's taken his first Grand Prix victory here today in the 125cc race alongside his teammate Joan Oliveira, who was on the podium as well.
Conditions look dry. That's important at Assen. This part of the world, it can be dry on some parts of the circuit and wet on others. So you have to be very, very careful indeed. There we are. It's a 19-lap race. The circuit length is been slightly shortened, a very small modification. So it's 6.07 kilometres. And as Gavin said, Rossi, Biaggi, Kenny Roberts and Loris Capirossi on that front row. All of those riders are champions currently or old world champions.
Alex Barros, Carlos Checa, Tetsuya Harada and Toru Okawa on that second row. Watch out for Okawa. Qualifying not great for him, but he should come through in the race.
Jeremy McWilliams, John Hopkins, Regis Laconi and Alex Hoffman on the 3rd row.
4th row, Aoki Nakano, Van den Gerberg, Sete Gibernau.
Got Van den Gerberg racing at home. Toshiro Kato, Pedro Riba, Norik Abe and Olivier Jacques on the 5th row of the grid.
And it's Akira Rio riding as a wild card here for the factory Suzuki.
So can anybody beat Valentino Rossi? Can anybody beat Honda? And how are the 2-strokes going to fare against the 4-strokes? We're about to find out here at Assen in Holland for round 7 of the MotoGP World Championship.
You'd expect the 500s really to challenge at the tighter, twistier places like Sachsenring. Here it's fast and flowing, but it may help them as well, just because there's not so much acceleration out of the corners. So we'll just have to wait and see what will happen. There's a good mix there. Loris Capirossi in 4th on board the NSR 500, Barros in 5th as well. So you never know. You never know. There could be a chance for them.
Come through the northern loop. They're coming up towards Struben corner.
There's Tetsuya Harada on board that Pramac Honda. Just in front of him, Jürgen van der Gerberg on the yellow Kanemoto bike. Popular with the fans as ever here at Assen. The northern loop is a fast-flowing area, brilliant place to watch. Just as they change direction through there and down towards that famous Struben corner. It's been flattened out a bit.
It's not quite the old corner where those famous pictures of the Agostinis, Halewoods and Phil Reeses. It's not quite the same.
Still, and then into the Veenslang, and that's just been moved slightly, just to accommodate a bit more the paddock. It's always growing in MotoGP. As they file around on this warm-up lap from a helicopter, you can see, and look on board as well with Valentino Rossi. A few clouds about. It's not bad, but you never know.
Typical Assen sky, that is, isn't it? You're not quite sure. Track certainly looks very dry at the moment as we ride with Valentino Rossi, but there's some threatening clouds around.
Very ominous looking, isn't it?
Yeah, dead right, absolutely right. See from the helicopters a sandy old soil in this part of the world.
And they've obviously moved back there. You can see they've moved the track back. They've changed the raft. That's Mandeveen and Duikersloot. They've actually just moved it there to give the riders more runoff in those areas. So you can see it's all been remodelled around there. More plans for this circuit for the future as well.
Yeah, quite radical plans as well, but this is why Assen's always been on the calendar, because Assen has always modified to keep up with the modern trends. And there's the chicane where so many races have been won or lost, and today may prove no exception. This is Rossi coming into that chicane. It's right, left, and then right again. That new grandstand on the left. Facilities as well as the track always updated here, but Rossi the man to beat, as we said. 5 out of 6 Grand Prix victories this season, and it's his teammate Tsuruokawa, the only man to beat him. Great rival Max Biaggi alongside him, then Kenny Roberts, the former world champion, completing that front row of the grid. Loris Capirossi on the 2-stroke Honda. Dutch TT is underway.
Not a great start for Rossi from that front row, was it? It's a good one for Max Biaggi, and it looks like Biaggi will lead going down to the first corner. Capirossi got very tight, squeezed in there into the pit wall. And it's actually Okawa who's come through from the second row to go into second behind Biaggi. In fact, Roberts goes through on him as they come out of turn 1. So it's Biaggi from Roberts, and Roberts going to take over in that little left-hand kick. So it's Roberts now from Biaggi second, Okawa third, Rossi fourth, and Checker in fifth. So the 4-strokes hit the front straight away. Their superior power telling early on in this race.
Yeah, just got the 2-strokes there of Alex Barros, certainly, and of course Loris Capirossi. But Roberts leads the way. Biaggi, Okawa, Rossi, Checker, Barros, Capirossi. Good start by Jeremy McWilliams in the 8th place. Was former 250cc winner here, Jeremy McWilliams.
Yeah, last year, wasn't it, in the 250s. On board now, looking back at Loris Capirossi, and we're on board, I think, with Valentino Rossi. Yeah, and you could just see there, Capirossi, through these tight and twisty sections, they have the advantage, it seems, don't they, on those 500 bikes?
And it's Kenny Roberts, of course, the former world champion, leading the way on the Suzuki.
Rossi's got through on Okawa, up into 3rd position. Past his teammates, so he's starting to wind his way through, but Capirossi and Biaggi, Barros, you can see as they swarm around Checker through the tighter sections where they seem to have the advantage. It's going to be when they have to crank open that throttle, maybe coming out of the chicane down to turn 1. Well, they have the problems. Here comes Capirossi again, and he goes through on Okawa into 4th. Good start to the race, this, for the Italian Capirossi, but they have to be wary of Roberts, who's trying to pull away at the front.
He certainly is. Of course, Suzuki have a great record at Assen with Kevin Schwantz in the past. And here we are. First time we've seen the 4-stroke Suzuki, and it leads the way with Kenny Roberts. And the 2 men behind him, well, they were battle all day and all night long, weren't they? Max Biaggi and, of course, Valentino Rossi.
Here comes Barros. He's through on Checker and trying to attack Okawa. He's had his times as well here in the past at Assen. Knows his circuit like the back of his hand. And I remember him doing one pass. I think it's down in the Veenslang at the back. It's an incredible manoeuvre there. I think it was back in about 1993 or 4, something like that. So he can go well here, Barros. And as we've seen, in these flowing sections, the 500s, just able, not as heavy, are they? They can flick around these corners a little easier.
Dead right. Here comes Valentino Rossi, thinking about getting up the inside of Max Biaggi, not able to do so. Everything settled down. Just got a glimpse there of Jeremy McWilliams. Van der Gerberg, the first Dutchman in the race, down in 13th place at the moment. Kenny Roberts leads the way. His father's won here. Of course, Kenny Roberts, the world champion in the year 2000, riding that 2-stroke Suzuki.
Good start that for John Hopkins as well. He's just in behind Jeremy McWilliams, the young American. Having a very good start to the race here in Assen. Into the Strubben they go for the 2nd time, and it's still the champion from the year 2000, Kenny Roberts Jr., who is leading the way from Max Biaggi. Valentino Rossi in 3rd, Suzuki, Yamaha, Honda, 1, 2, 3.
We ride with Valentino Rossi again, putting pressure on Max Biaggi, and the 2 Italians have closed right up on Kenny Roberts at the front. Great helicopter shots, really shows what Assen's all about.
And I could just see there in the top, yeah, and it was Barros coming through, and he's gone through on Capirossi. And Alex Barros, I say, you really have to watch out for him at this circuit, because he knows it so well. So much experience in the 500 class. And now Barros through on Capirossi and into 5th. There's Regis Laconi on board the RS Cube Aprilia. Struggling with that bike at the moment.
They are, the 4-stroke, of course, Aprilia, and they have found life a little bit tough.
Yeah, we've got the other 4-strokes all at the top of the pile at the moment, but Aprilia just way down the order. They're going to take time, aren't they? with those pneumatic valves and all those technological gizmos they've got going up on board that RS Cube.
We ride with Max Biaggi. Behind him, Valentino Rossi as they come through the start and finish. Pull right across the entrance to pit lane. Is Rossi gone up the inside? Brilliant onboard stuff. Valentino Rossi up into second place. Fastest lap of the race so far to Alex Barros on the two-stroke Honda.
And he went through on Okawa over the line. I'm not sure whether Okawa will have got him back, and he has, going into turn one. That's where the four strokes will be strongest. But still, Rossi up into second, Barros briefly up into fourth, but just showing his pedigree at this track. And it's not stringing out too much at the moment. Very, very tight in there as things stand. And he does go through again, Barros, on Okawa. Great start to the race for Barros. Started on the second row of the grid in fifth, and now he's just moved into fourth position. He didn't have the greatest starts.
Just got a glimpse there of Carlos Checa and Loris Capirossi at the back of this pack. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders at the front. Kenny Roberts leading the way. Rossi now up into second place. Then Biaggi. Alex Barros, as we said, just set the fastest lap of the race. Then Okawa, Checa at the back of the group. Loris Capirossi.
And this is where Barros can be dangerous. Round the outside he goes.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Oh, he's taken Rossi as well.
That's an amazing manoeuvre from Alex Barros up into second position. Who would have thought it through the fast sections of this Assen track.
What an illustration of the two-stroke 500 against the harder to ride, heavier 990cc four-stroke. Nimble, wasn't it? And he rode it perfectly. Brilliant stuff, Alex Barros.
Down towards Mandeveen and Dokeslope, and he did it in that back straight section. Here it was. He'd already gone round the outside of Biaggi and then came through on Valentino Rossi. Brilliant stuff that was from the Brazilian Alex Barros. And he's going to pressurise Kenny Roberts as well. Here he goes round the outside of Roberts. Look at Barros. He's flying in the early stages of this race. Oh, and he's going to take the lead. What a lap that's been from Barros.
The two-stroke leads the four strokes. Well, we haven't said that many times this season. Roberts fights back.
Yeah, down the straight you can see they have the power, don't they, their four strokes. But under braking, here comes Barros. And he's going to go through and reclaim the lead. Brilliant stuff from the Brazilian.
Thank you, Valentino Rossi's onboard camera. That just is showing just how hot and hard it is at the front. Barros leads the way, Roberts second, Rossi seemingly quite content in third place. Then Biaggi, Okawa. I think Loris Capirossi has now got up in front of Carlos Checa. No, he hasn't, he's behind him. No, that's Loris Capirossi at the back of the group. Familiar number 65. Teammate with Alex Barros on those 500cc two-stroke Hondas. We ride with Rossi again. This is Roberts in second place. Not only is he a great rider, he's a good cameraman, isn't he, Valentino Rossi? Because that is the perfect illustration of what's happening at the front.
And look at Barros, he's trying to pull away, and he's just trying to use these sections, isn't he, where the bikes are flicking from one side to the other, and the 500's certainly putting up a good fight here today. Barros leading a whole succession of four-stroke bikes, the Honda, the Suzuki, the other Honda of Okawa, and then the two Yamahas as well.
And Rossi's in front of Roberts now, and I suspect Rossi feels that Barros is getting away a little bit too quickly at the front.
Yeah, maybe he just thinks he can reel in Barros slowly but surely. It's a long way to go in the race, and we know the tyres will be crucial come the final laps.
Capirossi has now got in front of Carlos Checa and is closing on Max Biaggi.
I wonder if he can attack his compatriot. We've seen some great battles between these two in 250s as well as in the top class.
Right, with Loris Capirossi there is Max Biaggi into the chicane, thinks about going up the inside, unable to do so. In front of him you can see Okawa and Roberts. And beyond them, just about Rossi and Barros. Look at the difference in the two bikes, though, on the straight.
Yeah, look at how they pull away the four strokes from the two strokes. They could see down the straight a moment for Roberts, and Okawa's going to take advantage to go up into third position. Checa reclaims that spot. Sixth position from Loris Capirossi, and that just shows in a crash there at the back, and it's Loris Capirossi who goes down, and that's a nasty high side for the Italian. Where did that come from? Oh, is he okay? Yeah, he pulls himself to one side, but a very strange crash that. It was like his front wheel tagged the back of Checa or something like that.
It's strange accident, and it's Kenny Roberts now is beginning to drop back through the field, isn't he?
Tyre problems maybe for the American, I wonder.
Yeah, led the way for these opening few laps, and now Kenny Roberts at the back of this group, and seemingly go back. What a strange crash for Loris Capirossi. High speed. Bike's going to go into the dike, into the ditch there. Capirossi really
I
goes
just
a
wondered
big
whether
bang.
he touched the rear tyre of Carlos Checa. No, he didn't. It was a white line, and I wonder if there was some dampness out on that white line for Capirossi. His bike crashes down, goes into the grass, down and out goes Loris Capirossi, and Cito Pons, his crew chief there, Santi Molera as well, watch on.
At the front, Barros still leads the way though. Valentino Rossi chasing that 6th Grand Prix victory of the season, closing right up on him. Barros is having a fabulous ride. Battle for 3rd place, Akawa, Biaggi. Then you've got Carlos Checa and Kenny Roberts hanging in there a bit now at the back of the group.
Of course, they started the season on Dunlop tyres and moved to Michelin. And they felt that they needed the same brand as the top riders. So I wonder if that's just been a problem for Roberts in the early stages of the race. They get to grips with those new tyres.
Barros still leads. Rossi trying hard, just letting that rear wheel squirm on the 990cc Honda. What a start it's been for the young Italian in the new MotoGP class.
Fastest lap of the race so far as well from him. He had a big look around. But it doesn't look to me like he's in any kind of rush to get past Alex Barros. I think he's feeling quite comfortable. Meanwhile, just looking further down the order, Sete Gibernau's come through well on board the second of the 990 Suzukis, and he's through on Jeremy McWilliams into 7th. McWilliams doing well though in 8th.
Barros still leads the way. Valentino Rossi. Biaggi and Akawa having a good battle for 3rd place. It'll be a final podium position, but of course it's a long, long way to go yet. And then Carlos Checa and Roberts really at the back of this group. And disappointing, I'm sure, for him and Suzuki to see him suddenly drop back so rapidly. I think this is probably Loris Capirossi.
It is him being stretched away. It doesn't look too clever, that, does it, for Loris Capirossi?
Big accident for the former 125 and 250cc world champion.
Further down the order, you can see Laconi's come through and into 10th. Harada's dropping back on board the Pramac.
Just settled down a little bit the race now. A lot of early excitement. I think Gavin's right. I think Rossi very, very happy to sit in that situation at the moment. He's not being troubled from Akawa behind him. If anything, they're pulling away from Akawa and Biaggi. So he can just bide his time. As Barros has shown through certain sections here at Assen on that nimble 500, he will give Rossi problems.
Rossi a wider line coming through there. Again, if he's following Barros, he'll have to be taking different lines. Again, we expect those 500s will be more like a 250 would be in comparison to how the 4-strokes will behave, the way they can square off the corners a lot more in those 400s and rip open the throttle and use the power out of the corners.
Good look behind there, Alex Barros. We ride with Valentino Rossi. Look at the speed difference. Just look at the speed difference.
And it's on the brakes now.
Yeah, it is on the brakes, but if that had been the last lap of the race, I think Valentino Rossi would have continued on that path, don't you? I think just sizing it up and thinking, yeah, I can go past him there. Not at will, but very, very easily indeed. Although when they get into turn 1, he's got to be very aware how good Barros is on the brakes.
Jamie McWilliams has got back in front of Gibernau. Gibernau and Roberts all setting their own personal best laps of the race. So while it looks like Roberts is dropping back, his times are improving, in fact.
Yeah, that's been probably a little unfair to the other riders, isn't it, saying that? He led the way, but not at the pace he's setting now. This is classic Valentino Rossi. Of course, former 125, 250, 500cc world champion, just stalking Alex Barros, just biding his time. Barros, I think all he can do is just ride as hard as he can. In some ways, I wonder if he'd really mind if Rossi got in front of him as long as he couldn't pull away, because with that Honda being so much more nimble, perhaps he'd have the chance to nibble back at him. Certainly in the chicane on the last lap he'd have a go, wouldn't he? But I think the worry is if the Honda of Rossi got in front, the 4-stroke, with some fast sections here at Assen, he probably would pull away. Yeah,
although we have seen that, you know, in the flowing areas where the track twists and winds, that there may be a chance there.
Two Yamahas having a good scrap, Max Biaggi and Carlos Checa. Been a tough time for them in the new four-stroke era, the Yamahas. It's Honda have absolutely dominated. There's two Hondas out in front, although of course it's a two-stroke and a four-stroke.
Yeah, Loris Caparossi's in third in the championship behind Toru Okawa, of course crashing out today. Then it's Biaggi and Checker. Of course, been a couple of podiums more recently for Biaggi in Le Mans. He was third. In Mugello he was second behind Valentino Rossi on both occasions. And Checker's had a couple of podiums too, the opening round in Suzuka. And then his home race in Barcelona always seems to go well there.
Another faller.
And that's, looks to me, one of the Suzukis, and that is Kenny Roberts. Oh, Seta Gibernau, sorry.
Seta Gibernau was having a good ride back up through the field. He's okay, that's the main thing. Look at Rossi. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Barros now has been around a long, long time. I don't think he'll succumb to the pressure, but that's what Rossi's trying to do.
You see there?
Was it a little bit of a mistake there, or was just because the Honda was so much more nimble?
No, I think it was a mistake more than anything from Valentino Rossi there. I'm not sure whether he ran it wide or whether he was trying to attack and just pushed himself wide.
Well, there's Caparossi.
He's holding his wrist, isn't he?
Yeah.
Holding his arm. So,
but looking a lot better than he did when we saw him being taken away on the stretcher.
Yeah, at least he's walking away, but he was holding his arm there, so I'm wondering if there's a problem there for him. Two Yamahas, the M1 with Carlos Checker in front of Max Biaggi now.
So Kawa, at the moment making it a Honda 1, 2, 3. It's got a good battle for third place. And how Yamaha would like to be back on that podium. Gavin said they're starting to make a little bit of progress, but they really have been eclipsed by Honda in the new four-stroke era. And they've won all the races. And Kawa in third place. What a ride by him to win that South African Grand Prix at Welcome.
Yeah, just not on it today though, is he?
No,
not quite
not
there.
the same.
He's had 5 podiums so far this season, including that victory at Toru Okawa. 2 second places and 2 thirds. So it's been a good start to the season for the Japanese rider, former 250 racer, of course.
Over the line they come. Rossi again looking very comfortable. Closes right up at turn 1 on Barros just because of that extra power of the four-stroke. And it's Okawa, Checker and Biaggi.
Biaggi just set his fastest lap of the race so far with 11 to go. Still it's Barros leading from Rossi, but it looks to me like a matter of time. Rossi just sat in behind quite comfortably. I don't want to do any disservice though to Barros and how well he's riding, because he's riding out of his skin at the moment, absolutely superbly.
Well, it's probably could well be the last time we see the old 500cc two-stroke riding at such a famous circuit as Assen. So what a way to sign off if he could win the race, wouldn't it, after so many epic battles over those old 500, old, isn't that a bit unfair, but the 500s that some of the races, as we've seen, the Swanses, the Lawsons, the Gardeners, the Rainies around here. And he's upholding their honour. They're not going out without a fight, are they?
The Doohans as well.
Oh, sorry, Mick. Yes, very much so, the Doohans.
The things he did here over the years, including injuries as well.
Yeah. A little bit of sunshine there now. So those clouds we saw earlier, we were a little bit worried when we were riding on board with Valentino Rossi. Seemed to be dispelled.
I don't know, there's 10.5 laps to go. Anything can happen.
It's Assen.
It's still Barros leading though from Valentino Rossi.
And it's got an inevitability about it, hasn't it?
Rossi
is just waiting to... When will he make his move? He doesn't seem too fussed to make it at the moment. There's places where he is definitely quicker. And places where, coming towards the end of the race, he will certainly have a go.
Very fast through there, isn't it? That right-left combination.
Checker in front of Biaggi now.
Yes, he's got... he's still in front of Biaggi now. He's going to go through on Toru Okawa.
Yeah, there he goes.
Up into third position. So the Yamahas have been stalking that Honda. Now, it's been a much more even battle than this one at the front. I think this is an uneven battle. And why I think that Rossi, just the way he sat there as Okawa comes past, well, that Honda's certainly got a lot of power under the tank, hasn't it?
It has. I think the only way they'd push Rossi into going past Barros just yet would be if one of the Yamahas started to pull away and started to close up a little bit. I don't think that is going to happen, but good ride by Carlos Checker. Biaggi hasn't found life easy on the four-stroke, has he? But at the front, it's Rossi again. He's pressuring. Barbaros is riding superbly at the front. This is the way Rossi rides.
Into
pressure,
the Strubben.
Pressure, pressure.
Famous old corner. We've seen so much go on there over the years, and now into the vein slang. This, well, they call it a straight, but if you got a ruler to it, you think there's a few kinks here and there, and they're finding them all the way through. But it's a fantastic place to watch on. That's crash for Jamie McWilliams, is it?
Yes,
crash
it is.
or retirement. Anyway, either way, he's retired from the race. He's out. That's a shame for McWilliams, who was up into 7th position.
Yeah, good ride by McWilliams. As we were saying earlier, he won the 250cc race here last year. Always a threat at Assen. Mechanical or an accident, but he's out of the race.
And Biaggi's gone through on a Kawa as well. So, Yamaha's just starting to come into this a little bit more now. Checker in 3rd, Biaggi in 4th. And then just behind is Torokawa in 5th. But the battle we're all waiting to see how it will end is this one between Barros and Rossi. On board with Rossi now going into the chicane. So coming out of here, now I wonder if this is a chance for Rossi. He's right in behind Barros this time, and look at him on the powers. They cross the line, side by side coming across it. Barros takes a wider line across, and Rossi doesn't want to get involved in anything, does he?
Well, not yet anyway.
Just lets Barros go back in front of him.
Through the first turn.
But I feel that he could push a little bit harder through that.
Very much so. And I think when we've seen some of the on-board stuff, it really has illustrated just that. Rossi's team will be telling exactly what's happened. He'll know that he's under no pressure from behind, and he's quite happy to pressure Barros, let him do all the donkey work at the front. A few laps in the end, there is absolutely no doubt he'll be chasing for that 6th Grand Prix win of the season, and there is an inevitability about it. You just feel that he's going to do it. But Barros has also shown that he won't go down without a great fight. So I don't think Rossi will leave it too late, just worrying that Barros may make a real last-ditch effort at the chicane on the last lap.
And he's well capable of doing that. We know that about Alex Barros.
Van der Gerberg in 12th place, so the highest placed Dutchman in the race at the moment.
The only Dutchman in the race.
Well, he is, yeah, so that's not hard, but Will Hartog, Jack Middleburg, former winners, of course, here to send the Assen crowd completely wild. I didn't see Hartog win, but I saw Jack Middleburg win, I think in 1980, and I have never seen scenes in a motorcycle track like it.
Well, later on in this race, who knows what scene's going to kick off if one of the 500s can win. I'm sure the fans would be absolutely delighted if Alex Barros was able to pull this one off. But Rossi is closing in all the time, isn't he? And I wonder if he can just do something and then pull away over the last couple of laps, because Barros will attack him if he's close enough. Yeah,
he will. So I think Rossi won't wait till the very end. Two Yamaha's going well. Biaggi, well, his checker in front of him, of course, and Okawa just tucked in behind on the second of the Hondas. So the battle for the final podium position. Here we go again, up the start finish straight. Rossi does it again, doesn't he? Pulls up alongside Alex Barros as if to say, I've got the power, but I'm happy as the situation stands at the moment. And this checker, Biaggi and Okawa have just set their fastest laps of the race. So that's hotting up for 3rd place.
Definitely, it's all going to get exciting back there, isn't it? As Rossi now closes right in. Just under 8 laps remaining in the Dutch TT. And it's Barros from Rossi. Rossi trying to find a way through, but Barros, it's like he's driving a truck at the moment. There's no way through for Rossi.
7.5 laps to go. When will Rossi make his move? Oh, Aoki out of the race on the Proton machine. Jerry McWilliams crashing out. Oh, we saw the bike parked by the side of the road. We're not sure if it was a crash or a retirement, so not a good day for them.
Yeah, end of the session, well, end of the weekend for Proton KR then. And the 3-cylinder, they're the ones who are really struggling with these 4-strokes now in terms of power. You saw that McWilliams in the twisty sections, though, is where they do have an advantage, more akin to a 250. Perhaps in that high corner speeds. This is a great battle for 3rd going on now between Checker in 3rd, Biaggi in 4th, although that could have changed. Biaggi just gone through on him.
Max Biaggi up into 3rd, Checker 4. Okawa sitting and waiting at the back of the two Yamahas. He wants to make it a Honda 1, 2, 3, with Barros, of course, and Rossi on Hondas, although 2 strokes and 4 strokes. Here comes Biaggi. Just saw the gap. Classic overtaking Assen manoeuvre there. Nothing Checker can do.
So up into third goes Biaggi. At the front, still, Alex Barros holds out on the NSR 500 in front of the RC 211V, the 990cc MotoGP machine of Valentino Rossi, who's in second place, and again he goes past him across the line. Now this time will Rossi make it stick? They're side by side through the dogleg, but under braking again. Barros is strong.
You would think that's where Rossi will try to take him when he makes the move, wouldn't you? That's where he seems his absolute strongest. Checker back in front of Biaggi.
That must have been down at the chicane or something like that for Carlos Checker. And Biaggi's dropping back even further. I wonder if there's a problem for Max Biaggi, because he went behind a Kawa as well.
Back at the front, the pressure remains. Push, 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 Valentino Rossi. Make a mistake, Alex Barros. He hasn't put a foot wrong so far.
Look at the gap between Rossi and Checker. It's a long, long way. So this is a battle for third, not for the victory. And Biaggi did have a bit of a problem on a couple of corners there, didn't he? And just lost out to Okawa and back into fifth. Wonder if tyres are starting to take their toll for Biaggi on the Yamaha.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he made a big mistake, did it? It just seemed suddenly he couldn't hold the pace that he was holding. Here we go. It's a familiar sight, this race. It's Barros leading Rossi. They're going to come into the chicane. When they do come into the chicane, they're not there yet. You'll see Rossi pull right up alongside him, going down the start and finish straight. And at some stage, he's going to make that stick, isn't he? 7
seconds between Rossi and Checker. And that's too much of a gap to bridge. But there's still a podium position up for grabs here. Checker just pulling away at the moment, isn't he, from Okawa? I think that moment, or whatever it was from Max Biaggi, that problem he had, just gapped them out a little bit. Now, here you can see they're making the run back down through the ram's hook, up towards the chicane, and you can see how much closer Rossi gets in here. On the brakes they go. We'll go through the chicane. It'll be on the exit now as they go across the line, where Rossi will use all the power of that 990cc bike.
Here we go once again. This is the familiar sight. Will he make it stick? No. He's quite happy just to tuck in behind him as they're going to turn one.
Are we doing too much of a disservice to Barros?
Well, we may be. I don't think we are. I think Rossi is waiting his moment, but it's a great, great ride by Alex Barros.
On board with Max Biaggi in slow motion at the moment. I didn't quite see what was going on there with the problem he had when Carlos Checker got past him.
Rossi very, very close this time round. As close as he's been throughout the race so far. He doesn't want to go down to a last lap confrontation with Alex Barros.
Had a little think there, didn't he?
Yeah.
I wonder if he could manage something as they go down towards the Strubben in that northern loop section. We know Barros is strong, but Rossi's just trying to find I think a moment of surprise, perhaps.
Yeah, may well be.
I think Barros is possibly working out the chicane. That's where he's losing out on power. So maybe carrying as much pace through there to not lose out on exit, basically.
This is as close as Rossi's been. But then through that little nimble section, it's great to see Barros just flick left, right. Beautiful on the 500. Vandergerber coming up close. I think that's probably because of retirement more than anything else. This is still the battle for third place. And Carlos Checker just opened up a bit of a gap on a car. Well, perhaps not. Max Biaggi, something happened to him, but he's hanging onto the group now. But just feel perhaps Biaggi's chances of being on the podium have disappeared. Yeah,
it could well be. He's just dropped off the back, and okay, he's maintaining the pace, but he's not going to make an attack from there, is he? Now, will we see an attack this time from Rossi? Right in behind Barros again, very, very close, heading down towards the chicane. It'll be hard on the brakes going into it, and we're going to go back to see Kenny Roberts, who's dropped back. He's still in 6th position. He's dropped a long way off that battle for third we've seen between the two Yamahas. I just want to see what's going on at the front, though, because we thought Rossi might have been lining up a manoeuvre. Of course, we need to see Kenny Roberts, but he's involved in a pretty lone race at the moment.
Yes, he's about 15 seconds down, I think, on the leaders. And for a guy that led so confidently at the start, there's obviously been some sort of problem for the former world champion. He crosses the line now. 5 laps to go.
Of course, we saw that bike on the podium in the opening race of the season at Suzuka, but it was Akira Rio that time.
Yes, so we did.
In the wet conditions. Neither of Gibernau or Roberts been able to take it there just yet. Struggling to get to grips. There's John Hopkins having a fairly decent ride as well. It's not a bad debut season, is it, for Hopkins?
No, looks like he's going to be right up there with the top men in the next few years, John Hopkins. Rossi closes the game through the Struben.
So we didn't see a move. There wasn't anything there from
No,
Rossi.
we don't know.
Again, he's close through there, isn't he? Now, through the Veenslang. Last time, Barros pulled away here, but he's keeping tabs on him this time, is Valentino Rossi, through the Ruskin hook.
Down at the bottom end, he wants to be very, very close indeed at the chicane. He has been on the last 10 laps probably, hasn't he? Just hasn't made the move when perhaps he could have done. Okawa's not letting Checker get away. He's Checker in 3rd place.
There's Alex Hoffman riding as a replacement for the injured Gary McCoy. And he's doing okay as well, ahead of Jürgen van der Gerberg now. And that Red Bull Yamaha. There's the van der Gerberg.
From the Kanemoto Honda, isn't it?
Yeah, that 500cc V4.
Using the Bridgestone tyres, using very much as a test bed, aren't they, for future involvement.
A lot of money is coming from Bridgestone for that team, but Irv Kanemoto, a seriously famous tuner of bikes, and Rossi has made the manoeuvre, and look how much, that's what we've been saying, that we felt he could have done that on every single lap so far. This time he really cranks open the throttle on the Honda and he flies past Barros, and there was nothing Barros could do that time. No late braking or anything is going to, and I just felt, look at him come down. Now this is coming out of the chicane, just look at this. It seems as though to me he's been sandbagging, surely. If he's been able to go past that easily.
He has been sandbagging, I don't think there's any doubt about it. But, now, the race, or how excited the race is going to be decided probably on this lap, isn't it? If Rossi can get away, now he's got in front, that's what he's going to try and do. Can Alex Barros hang on to him? He certainly can. And one of the last men you'd want behind you in a last lap battle would be Alex Barros. He is so good on the brakes. He's riding that nimbler, easier to ride 500cc Honda, and Rossi will want to open up an advantage.
Yeah. Not sure you'd always call a 500 easy to ride, would you? At all? We know what they can do to people. It's
been a bit unfair to the riders, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly. They split people left, right, and centre for years. But around this sort of circuit, just picking it up in corners, that kind of thing. But it seems to me Rossi's got the bit between his teeth now. He's gone through. Okay, the gaps that may stay pretty much the same, but we know in that section from the chicane down to turn 1, the front straight, and he will pull away.
Rossi now chasing his 6th Grand Prix victory of the season. What an amazing year it's been for him and Honda. Alex Barros, he's putting up a very, very brave fight, but Rossi's got his head down now. He made the move with 4 laps to go, and he's determined to make this a Grand Prix victory. But what a fight back by the 2 strokes. And I think the real battle may come for 3rd place between Checker and Okawa.
Yeah, it's the Yamaha M1 4-stroke of Checker against the Honda RC211V 4-stroke of Toru Okawa. Head-to-head between the Spaniard and the Japanese rider. Checker's just set his fastest lap of the race. Valentino Rossi, that last lap was the fastest lap of the race, and I think it was clear to us. We were saying it, weren't we? On every single go across the line, will he make a move now, will he? And finally he did so, and it's done it to good effect, and I think it was more than anything. If he felt maybe if he went a little bit earlier, Barros may have been able to stick with him or something like that, and now he's probably let Barros push as hard as possible at the front, use as much tyre as possible, and now Rossi can pull away, and he's certainly doing that.
2.5 laps to go. He's dominated the season so far, and I won't say he's dominated this Dutch TT, but he's ridden it quite brilliantly, bided his time. Now he's on the charge, chasing his 6th win of the season. He'll make a clean sweep for Honda once again. They would have won every Grand Prix of the season so far.
And the Honda 4-stroke, importantly.
Yeah.
I just saw there the top speed from Valentino Rossi, 257. It's not the top speed here, which is what we've seen at other circuits at the end of the straights. It's not the top speed, it's the acceleration out of the corners more than anything. and that four-stroke just got the extra power to drive out of the corners.
Barros is having a great ride in second place. He is trying absolutely everything to stay with Rossi. And who knows, we may see some more battles between the two strokes and four strokes before the season ends. These are two four strokes, but they're rival factories, Yamaha and Honda, and it's the battle for the final position on the podium. We ride with Checker, and there is a Kawa just in behind him.
On board with him and just trying to see where Okawa can pass, but at the moment, it's pretty much wheels in line stuff, isn't it? Nothing too much out of the ordinary between these two. Haven't seen Okawa put too much pressure on for the time being. He may be saving something for the end, as he did in South Africa, of course, on Valentino Rossi when he passed him there. That was a real last lap scrap.
It was, I think.
Penultimate lap as well there.
Caught everybody by surprise, including Rossi.
So he can do it. We know Okawa's got the pedigree.
Barros has just set his fastest lap of the race so far, but the man at the front has got away. He's escaped, he's gone. 1.5 laps to go. Valentino Rossi rules here at Assen. He rules this 2002 MotoGP World Championship with the switch to the four strokes. And a classic display of patience and of great riding, and a classic display of 500cc Grand Prix riding by the Brazilian Alex Barros. Potting up a bit further down the field.
It's Daijiro Kato now, who's closed right in on Hoffman and Van der Gerberg. Van der Gerberg in 11th spot, Kato just behind him in 12th. And I wonder if the 250cc world champion can get through on these two. Not had an easy start to things. Of course, took that podium at Jerez, which was a great ride from him. I wonder if he can get through and just make a couple of places in the final laps. Now, Valentino Rossi, look at the top speeds. Rossi there, 251. Biaggi, 221. He's got problems, hasn't he, with his engine here today. But you can just see Barros was down in 236, so he's losing out by 15 kilometres an hour. You're never going to be able to beat him like that, are you?
Well, you've got to have every advantage to beat Valentino Rossi to start with. And when you get that sort of speed differential, you've got no chance. Rossi now well on course. What a ride by Alex Barros in second place. He's flown the two-stroke flag here at Assen. He is giving it absolutely everything. But this man's difficult to beat. The only man that's beaten him this season so far is his own teammate, Kurokawa. Crosses the line. 1 lap to go for Valentino Rossi. Barros in second place. The real battle's going to be who finishes on the podium in third spot between Okawa and Carlos Checker. And here they come under the bridge. It's Checker that just holds the advantage. But Okawa's much, much closer than he has been previously. He will make a move at some stage. I
think he has to make a move. Well, he obviously does have to make a move on this lap, but he has to attack at least, surely. Rossi just set another fastest lap of the race on that last one. 2 minutes, 0.973, quicker than his qualifying time. Valentino Rossi, incredible stuff from the Italian.
But he's been pushed into these times by Alex Barros, hasn't he? Barros has pushed Rossi into lap record times. But it's difficult to see who can beat this combination of the four-stroke Honda and the Italian Valentino Rossi. They almost look invincible at the moment.
Yeah, this season anyway. Now, who's going to take third position? We reckon, unless there's a mistake now for Rossi, yeah, it's too much of a gap. There's Barros in second, but Barros, you have to take your hat off to him and say that has been a brilliant ride. Absolutely brilliant from Alex Barros. Showed us some of the class of Barros of old, who takes his first podium of the year if he brings the bike home now. And then in third, Checker just seemed to have a fair gap, didn't he, on Okawa?
He did, and Okawa want to get a lot closer than that if he's going to cause him any problems. Well, the crowd will salute, as they do everywhere in the world. Truly great world champion, and well on course to retain this championship in the new format of MotoGP and the four-stroke format. Rossi first, Barros in second place, less than half a lap to go here at Assen.
Now, Okawa, can he do something? Can he make a move? Can he do something down in towards the chicane? They come into the ram's hook now. Has to be tight to the back of Checker. Can Okawa make a move? Well, we're going to watch Rossi cross the line. usual style as he wheelies out of the final chicane. Alex Barros can be happy with second, and Cheika's been run into the dirt, so something's gone on in that final corner. And his Cheika's actually going to come across the line ahead of Okawa. Has Okawa gone down? He has. Okawa's crashed in the final chicane, and Biaggi's going to take fourth. So something happened in that final chicane, and it will be damp on the grass as well from earlier rain.
How many times have we seen that happen at Assen on the very, very last lap? Kenny Roberts going to finish a very lonely 5th place after leading in the early stages on the Suzuki, crosses the line.
Is he going to finish 5th? No, Okawa's
just there. It just got back on and got through. John Hopkins 7th. Good ride by him.
Very good from Hopkins. I think that will be his best result so far. Well done to the youngster. But it's Rossi's day. He celebrates his 5th win in a row, 6th victory of the season. Disappointment, of course, for Okawa in that final chicane. Can we see anything behind Rossi? No, we're just going to watch him come across the line, and look at that one-handed wheelie across the line on an angle, coming across. Well done to Rossi.
And this is what happened then. Cheika pulls across, Okawa comes, doesn't clip him just yet. Oh, he runs him wide. They both run wide. Yeah, I think you're right about a little bit of damp grass there. Okawa goes down. Lucky there's nobody close behind because he runs across the track. We ride with Okawa. There's Cheika. Wow.
Well, it was brave from Cheika, wasn't it? Because it was the only thing he could do, though, wasn't it? Okawa had an inside line. Cheika came across the front of him. And I think Okawa himself was going to run it deep, whatever. So something was going to happen. Cheika maybe just needed to sit up and let Okawa come through.
He did well to hang on to the bike.
He hung on to it.
He did
Still took the podium.
Well, yeah, he did. Great ride by Carlos Cheika.
His 3rd podium of the season. His third position, in fact.
Here he comes. Carlos Cheika in 3rd place. Yamaha will be pleased with that, but will be a lot happier if they can start beating Honda. Crowd on the track, which doesn't make life easy for Valentino Rossi.
He braves the grass, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Go motocrossing. He's just avoiding the crowds there. So many people packed into the Assen track. And look at the fans stream across it.
Here he comes. 6 Grand Prix wins this season, 5 consecutive wins. He's running away with the World Championship. We now have a lead of 100. We have 170 points, a lead of 62 on Okawa and 98 over Cheika. He's in 3rd place.
Yeah, he moves ahead of Loris Capirossi, who crashed out early on in the race. Looked like he had a bit of a wrist problem. There was just something stuck in his rear tyre there. And Valentino Rossi's just going to celebrate with a burnout. Perfect donut from him. Look at that. No, he knows his history, this Valentino Rossi. They're not helping him much, are they?
No. Yeah, I think he'd probably do better to get back into Parc Ferme now, don't you?
So, yeah. Otherwise, he might not make it home with his bike.
Yeah. He still wants to carry on with the bird.
Brilliant celebrations from Valentino Rossi. Came to celebrate in front of the fans on the main straight. Great stuff.
There's Okawa and Cheika, I think, discussing the incident. Oh, sorry, it's Rossi talking to Cheika. Are they? Rossi probably doesn't know what happened, but it must be something that happened earlier in the race, I would imagine. Usual celebrations.
Final results then in the Dutch TT. Valentino Rossi wins the race from Alex Barros in 2nd, who rode superbly. You can't take anything away from him on the NSR 500. And Carlos Cheika. Barros took his first podium here back in 1992 and back on it. First podium of the season for the Brazilian. Max Biaggi in 4th, Turokawa 5th, Roberts, Hopkins, Nakano, then Abe van der Gerburg in 10th, Hoffman 11th, Kato 12th, Harada 13th, Olivier Jacques in 14th, and Akira Rio in 15th, but 3 minutes down.
And they wait for the doctor to arrive. He duly does on the top step of the podium. As with everywhere else in the world, he is adored by the fans. Alex Barros claps, Carlos Cheika claps. But a brilliant ride by Alex Barros. And that's what they think about Valentino Rossi here at the Cathedral of Grand Prix racing. He loves every minute of it.
We thought we might have been doing a disservice at one point, didn't we, in that race?
Yeah.
Barros led for so long, but the way Rossi just streamed past him and pulled away at the end just showed he had it in the bag, didn't he? He had it, all knew what he was doing.
Carlos Checa receiving his award. Lucky third place, but a real big incident on that very last chicane. He came through just about more than Alex Barros. You pushed Valentino Rossi hard indeed. He flew that two-stroke flag. Pons team very, very happy with that particular result.
And the old famous laurel wreath going around the shoulders of Alex Barros. Will be an even bigger one for Valentino Rossi.
But here we go. His sixth Grand Prix win of the season, his fifth in succession. He is flying. He's leading the World Championship. It's Valentino Rossi, seemingly unbeatable in 2002.
Superb performance from Valentino Rossi. Honda get the Constructors' Award, and now we hear the Italian national anthem.
Barros and Rossi still discussing the race.
The Valentino Rossi wins his sixth Grand Prix of the year, leads the World Championship. Is he unstoppable? Well, in this kind of form, he truly is.